All right, welcome to episode 46 of my FX Buddies. Today is Friday, April 26, 2024, another day where all the numbers are even. All right, so this is just to get you caught up for Thursday and Friday. There's nothing exciting, not even anything fun, okay? This is going to be a boring one, but there's some good stuff though. Proof of forward movement, but not that we're going to be in the bank next week. I don't think so. Some people do, but I don't. Um, but not because Iraq isn't ready. They could do it at any time. But before I get talking, let me say, number one, if you are listening to this on YouTube, notice I said listening, you're not watching because that is not a video. Notice it's the same image. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, then under the video, what appears to be in the video, there's a little box. It says more. There's a word more. Click more. The link to the blog, which by the way is myfxbuddies.com, but you have to have the HTTPS, or you could type in myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, which is kind of long. But anyway, but the blog is where you want to go because that's where everything is. The video, all the complete articles. And if there's anything that I add, then it's there. All right. So let me just, some things to tell you that I don't have articles on just because there's already a lot of articles and these things just happened, and I don't like to post this just happened, right? Because sometimes sometimes by the um after they've done their investigation, it could be totally different than what the hey, this just happened articles. But there was a gas field, that's what they're calling it, gas field in Sulaymaniyah, which is in Kurdistan, that was bombed. We don't know who did it as of now, right? So that's developing. But they are going to do an investigation because some people are no longer living. There's injuries. That happened. It was kind of a bloody day in Iraq. There were two multiple cars involved accidents, but I don't think they were accidents because both of them had government people involved. Yeah, so that's usually not an accident, right? Then they assassinated this lady. Oh my gosh. She's well, she was a, I don't know if they call it YouTube, but she was a social media presence and wore a lot of makeup and did, I'm sure she had lots of surgery because her face is, but anyway, just not normal. There's so many people that, excuse me, there's some people that do so many different operations, they just don't look normal. And then she'd put these weird color eye contacts in, and even though she didn't dress, uh, I think they're calling her an activist, but it wasn't because she pushed the outfits or anything. I think it was more because maybe she said stuff. I don't know, but I'm sure they didn't like all the makeup and the different looks and stuff. But anyway, yeah, she's not around anymore. And I don't even know. And it was clearly, see, they use motorcycles, right? It'll be one or two people. If it's two, they'll stop and one person will hop off and the other one will drive off, go and turn around, right? And come back. And then the one that was going to do whatever it was he was going to do, hand grenades, guns, whatever, they do that. Um, the motorcycle guy comes back, they hop on and they leave. So for special events, and sometimes they'll just say, oh, today no motorcycles can come in the green zone, or no motorcycles allowed. But guess what? Now, because they have a very complex camera system, all of that gets caught on camera. But sometimes they still don't catch the people because they wear helmets, they dress in all black, So the cameras are good, but, not that good. But anyway, yeah, so those were the bad things. Oh, their soccer team won, so they'll advance, and they're going to play Vietnam. And the Islamic resistance in Iraq is boasting they hit a major target in Haifa, Rafah, I don't know, somewhere in Israel. Okay, so that's the bad stuff that probably won't have anything to do with what we're waiting on, but you never know. And that's what that's why I pushed out to June, because of that. And it's just the bombing of the gas thing. Not only was there loss of life and injuries, the part of the city that used that field for energy doesn't have energy, but I don't know for how long. But I mean, I think it's just a deterrent. They're trying to stop all the good things that are happening, but I don't think it's going to stop them. There's too much going on that, they're going to let that stop them. But I'm sure if I post, I don't think I'll post tomorrow, but I'll post Sunday, because if you go more than 2 days, then they end up being too long. Which, look, I've been talking for too long already. Remember, rss.com, my FX buddies, there's a transcript there. Spotify.com has video content. I think that's it. All right, so let's get into it. So today, this is from today, Friday. This, look how colorful that is. Look at all these flags. To me, all these flags look the same color, but I don't think they are. But anyway, so this guy right here, he is the he's the head of the Iraqi Private Banks Association. And for a while, people didn't like him because, remember, it was the private banks that were holding up everything because they didn't want to get on the new system. They weren't open. They weren't transparent because we knew what they were doing, smuggling. Right? They knew there was corruption coming from those banks, but they didn't shut them down or whatever. But finally, they're on board. So the Association of Private Banks appreciates the efforts of the government and the Central Bank of Iraq to create understandings with the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, and international banks. For what? What is the understanding? That they're going to face major challenges at various economic levels, including depriving the Iraqi private banking sector of using the dollar. But why? That shouldn't be the goal, right? The goal should be to get the rate change, get the new notes. That's what I think. But anyway, so you could read this. Let's see. The banking reform, prominent role played by yada, yada, yada. Actually, and where they are, they're at this guy. He participated in the Arab Economic Security Forum, which was organized by the Union of Arab Banks in Beirut. So possibly, I'm just wondering, could he be telling them some stuff that Sudani gave to him to tell them? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so they're talking about, see here, fighting anti-money laundering and terrorist financing laws. But for the first time, we are witnessing a clear targeting of the sector, which has begun to affect banking services, blah, blah, blah. And there's some key words in a lot of the articles today, and that's what I'm looking for. But it's integration, right? Economic integration and effect on the exchange rate. Let's see. Here's one. Here's the so Handal appreciated the efforts of the Iraqi government, Central Bank of Iraq, to create deeper understandings with international banks, the Federal Reserve, US Treasury, to expand the integration of the Iraqi banking sector into the global financial system, in addition to supporting the Iraqi dinar, which led to a gradual rise in its value, which we have yet to see, right? It's still around 1467 dinars per dollar. So I don't think he's talking about that. But yeah, so that's one article where they're talking about that. Okay, so these are from yesterday. Araji, who is the NSA guy, there he is right there. He's Iraq's NSA guy. He was in Russia. Iraq still needs the support of the international community to achieve stability and sustainable development. But whatever. This is a nice favorable article in favor of Sudani. It's a political analyst. He says Sudani is the first prime minister to work around the clock. Yeah. Here's Parliament talks about the mechanism for recovering smuggled funds and hints at the next stage. And look at our beautiful $100 bill. Just stacks and stacks of them. All right. So the next phase of this is that they will witness the recovery of funds and more fugitives on charges of corruption and other charges. But isn't that interesting? Remember, they were somewhere. Were they in Sweden with the Swiss? Joining some other international organization that's what it does. Helps them get the smuggled money back. Yeah, I think they were. All right. You can read that if you want. This we're going to spend some time on. This came out, man, I think this came out Tuesday. And I forgot to talk about it on Wednesday. Yeah. So, will the agreement signed with the US Treasury reflect positively on the exchange rates? So it also talks about, will they get the green light to contract with Iranian companies that are not sanctioned by the US? Of course, Iran wants that, right? Because they're going to need money. So far, the results of what was agreed upon in Washington have not appeared. Blah, 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 which could have a positive impact on the exchange rate because the real problem of the exchange rates has not been solved. Let's see. Meetings required. So that's it. That's mentioning the exchange rate. Oh, I did that on accident. Here's an article again talking about the float. Now, some people are talking about this, but they're leaving an important piece out. See this right here? So the guys, because it's two different economists basically saying the same thing. So the floating of the Iraqi dinar without achieving an important condition. And look, I like this picture. Okay. Well, for those just listening, it's a picture of some 25K dinars, a 10K dinar, and this one, what's this one? The 5K. I think that's the 5K. And here you can see a thousand note there. All right. So this article, okay, so they're talking about the float and blah, blah, blah. But here, it could lead to the dinar witnessing a violent collapse. And then that would lead to insane inflation. So the condition that no one's talking about is the private sector if they do that and they don't, is it implement, activate? Where is that? Doggone it. Levels later. Currency exchange rate, right? There's that. Liberalized. Still experiencing. Well, somewhere. Oh, here. Of course, it's the last sentence. Nope, it's not. Despite the numerous measures, attribute the reason for this confusion, smuggling, speculation. But somewhere in here, this condition is activating the private sector. So if you do that, he's saying if you float the currency without activating the private sector, forces supply, such as this is adding, but common should not, but rather the people in light of, here it is right here. So, in light of Iraq's lack of a national private sector, that could contribute to all those bad things, right? So, just, I don't like when, I don't know if they do that intentionally. I don't know, but it causes confusion. So, they weren't saying floating is going to cause a collapse. It's if they float and don't activate the private sector, which I doubt they're going to do that, right? Okay, here's an article. Will the U.S. withdraw from Iraq? And this seems to be out of place again, but because they didn't talk about that at Washington, obviously. And they even say Iraq versus Afghanistan. So possibly, and this is in a publication that goes to Arab countries, Arab readers, I'll say, even no matter where they are, in their countries or if they're in Europe, Africa. Yeah, so maybe they're just trying to stir up some negative feelings or something. I don't know. But of course I put it here because I did read it and it does have some good points, but it even talks about Iraq being back in their pivotal position as a leader and mediator of all issues, you know. So, oh yeah, okay. We can skip that. Well, no. Is this the one? No. Yeah, we can skip that. But there is serious work to lift U.S. sanctions on Iraq banks. So this is Safwan Quase. He's an expert in economic affairs. They interview him on TV. Less and less, though. They're dealing with him less and less. I wonder why, but whatever. But I like this last paragraph. Well, he's saying there's lots of work to do to get those sanctioned banks off that list, right? He pointed out that the government of Sudani directed the formation of a joint committee between the U.S. Federal Reserve and the Iraqi Central Bank in order to move towards lifting sanctions on Iraqi banks and restoring the status of the Iraqi banking sector to its global stature. So I like that. So that's kind of global integration, right? Kind of. Okay, we'll skip this, but I just wanted you to see this was on the site of the Temenos company. You see how my lovely skills, I couldn't get that background off of there, but whatever. So they're saying officially on the 25th, the National Bank of Iraq has switched over to their system. But Iraq said it like a week and a half ago, right? So whatever. It says the National Bank of Iraq, as part of the Capital Bank Group, has successfully gone live with Temenos core banking and payments. And then I was thinking Iraq probably did go live the first time this was in the news, but they waited to announce it to make sure that it was successful so they could brag right? Because you don't want to put it out and then come to find out they have all these problems, right? So that's what I was thinking. But anyway, and then this is interesting. Tax in Iraq. IMF identifies 6 areas for reform. So this is part of what I was talking about when it says it looks like forward movement. They've been trying to tax people for a long time, probably 10 years. But you can't tax people that don't have money, right? So now that they've gotten the double payment names out of the bankroll systems. They've kind of handled corruption. They're on the new uh, electronic payment system, right? All these things are coming together. They can now start paying taxes. And so if you want to see this, see this link that says more here? You could go there and see more. You'll get this, but it's a 4-page document. Before it used to just come up as the PDF, but now they want you to download it. And I did not download it. I don't want to download it. So I put that there if you want to. Some people like to read everything. I'm not one of those people. So I provide that if you want that there. All right. Here's the other one about what are the risks of floating the Iraqi dinar to address the double price. So you could read that if you want. Let's see. A financial expert explains the impact of Washington's visit on the Iraqi banking sector. And this right here, I'm sure is probably supposed to be OPEC, but they put OPAC, but I don't mess with I don't mess with the articles like that. I just copy and paste them and whatever. Because it's probably not all true anyway. Right? They just what they want. So why anyway, okay. So he did what is this? Why do I have this? Washington's visit restored hope to the Iraqi banking sector and stopped a new package of sanctions. So that was good. Okay, I thought this was interesting, an interesting title. The presence of the international coalition after its purpose has been fulfilled. So that's us. So he's saying, if we stay, because we don't need them anymore, their presence represents a form of guardianship over Iraq. And he said the quiet part out loud, right? So you could read that if you like. That is the guy that I don't like. Hakim. He's a holy man, but he's also a politician, and he likes to shoot guns. Trust me, I have no problem with guns, love guns. I don't shoot them myself, but I will eventually. Just something I get negative vibes from him. But I thought this article was interesting and that he said that. He was like, if they stay, that's like a guardianship over us. He put it out there. All right, anyway, let's see. Dang, are we still on yesterday? Oh, we got 7 minutes. Okay, look at this. ABCC. Nope, that's not an error. ABCC signs an MOU with Baghdad Chamber of Commerce. And look how happy they are. That stands for Arab British Chamber of Commerce. And they signed a memorandum of understanding with Baghdad Chamber of Commerce with the aim of developing a strong partnership. So remember I said you're going to hear a lot about partnership, relationship. Yeah. To better serve their respective members, which are entrepreneurs and small business and all that stuff. And then remember, Sudani is going to Saudi Arabia on the 28th and 29th because there's another installment or whatever of the WEF. They're going to have a meeting there. And I just think that is very interesting that they will meet there when Arab ideology, if I can say that, is not in the same line as what the World Economic Forum wants for us, right? But they're going to try to get them on their side. All right. So that will be interesting. We can skip that. You can read that if you want. I thought this was interesting. Look at this. Look how, so this is an example of them starting projects, and then in the middle of the project, where'd the money go? I don't know. I thought you had it. I thought you had it. Oh well, there's no more money. We have to stop the project. So you can see this is gonna be a nice city once it gets finished, right? So now it's just some half-finished buildings with a bunch of dirty dirt around it. But I was thinking maybe the dirt has oil in it. Maybe that's why it's that color. I don't know. But what they're gonna do, Iraq's investments have risen and need a comprehensive review of previous years. So I was thinking, and if you read this, maybe you'll get the same. It looks like they're gonna go through the books back to 2014 to forward and try to find money, try to see who owns what, and then go from there. And I bet you there's more cities like that too. All right, these are dated today. Okay, Financial Inclusion Week. They're starting that tomorrow. All right. I bet you this week, this year's week will be different than last year's. Okay, here I was laughing because I told someone yesterday they're gonna have to do something about the dollar situation because it's time for the Hajj, this HHAJ. That's, I think, what the trip is called. The people going to Mecca. The trip is called the Hajj. I could be totally wrong, but I know they do this every year, and for some reason it goes through Iraq, and they're gonna need dollars, and they're actual legit travelers. So it'd be nice if they just went on ahead and changed the rate and had the new money out, right? But wishful thinking. So, oh, here's that same article. I thought I cut it, but I guess I copied it. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Here's another article about participation of the Association of Private Banks in the Jordanian Iraqi-Economic Forum, which is next May. And I believe this is the first one. This will be the first time they're having it. Because it doesn't say 4th or 5th, right? It just says it's happening. All right. And you can read about all who will be there. It'll be a 2-day forum. Oh. The Silver Jubilee of His Majesty King Abdullah II. One of those kings was just in the hospital. I think the king of Saudi Arabia was just hospitalized, but not for long though. So the forum seeks to enhance regional integration. There's that word. By building economic interconnection and blah, blah, blah. Vision for the future, prosperity, all that stuff. Next week, a Kurdish delegation will visit Baghdad to meet with the Minister of Finance. And there's that, if you want to read that. And here is same guy, same place, but in this article, they're bragging about how successful they've been with the transition to an electronic government. And this is the last article, which is, wow, listen to this. Stop what you're doing because you're going to be like, what? But yes, you are hearing what you think you are hearing. A study explodes a surprise. Iraq is among the countries that export oil to Israel. Say what? Iraq is selling oil to the little Satan? How is the delivery done? So I don't know who discovered this, but they didn't waste any time putting it out there. And they even have what pipeline it starts from, what oil fields it starts from, the route that it goes through, and how it ends up in Israel. So, and they'll complain and they'll want heads to roll, but nothing will happen. They'll apologize and say, "Oh, we won't do it anymore," and then they'll just change it. It's just like earlier this week on Bloomberg, they said, "Well, it's been discovered that Iran's oil is being marketed under Malaysia, under the tag of Malaysian oil." Oh, anyway, yeah. So that's it. You're caught up from for Thursday and Friday. Boring stuff, right? But it's all good. It's all good stuff. And I don't know, it seems like we're on pause. Right? There was all this action happening and excitement, and now it's like, ah. So we'll see what the weekend brings. Um, I'm not really expecting anything. I hope they surprise me. And so, yeah, don't look for me to post tomorrow unless something really nice, really great happens. But Sunday, probably I will. Sunday evening. All right. So you enjoy your weekend. Thank you for listening. Wherever you're listening or watching, if there's a follow, join, whatever button, hit that, swipe it, whatever. Oh, then, what's the other thing? Oh, accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. And thank you again. And until next time.